Creative Brain Candy by creators for creators.
You're listening to Simply Stogies, a monthly podcast dedicated to the cigar enthusiast. Light up a stogie, sit back and relax while James brings you along on his journey as a new cigar smoker. Simply Stogies will review cigars, discuss topics that cigar aficionados find important, and will probably learn a few things along the way. Now, here's your host of Simply Stogies, James.
All right, so I'll hit the record button. Oh, good. It tells you now that this meeting is being recorded. Perfect.
Right.
That's new and different. All right. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So we'll go live-ish because this won't release until July 1st.
Okay.
So we'll go live in 3, 2. Welcome to Simply Stogies. I am your host, James. Today, joining me via telephone is Anya Ramirez, who is a rep for Karen Berger Cigars. She is a Instagram influencer and a wonderful sister of the leaf. Anya Ramirez, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you and find out about your story. We talked a little bit at the Queen City Cigar Festival in Charlotte, North Carolina, a few weeks ago, which was a great time. And so I want to talk to you about your journey and all of the exciting things going on. But before we get to Anya and her journey into the cigar world, I'd like to invite you to go to creativebraincandy.com and check out the great family of podcasts that we have there, including Eyes Forward March. Eyes Forward March is by a couple of guys, NCOs, non-commissioned officers in the Army. They will tell you all about everything you need to know as an NCO and transitioning from the Army into civilian life. Eyes Forward March at creativebraincandy.com. Check them out and all of the other wonderful family of podcasts that we have there. All right, I'm done shilling. I'm done promoting everyone else but myself. So again, Anya, welcome to the program. I'm excited to talk to you. You just got back from the Dominican Republic. Is that right?
Yes. I got back last Wednesday, actually. It was a fun trip.
So we'll talk about that because there was a specific reason I think that you went there. We'll get there. But let's start at the beginning where all great stories start. Anya, how did you start into the cigar hobby?
Well, I got to say that it started when I was practically 5 years old. And I know I wasn't smoking back then, but, I used to see my dad smoke cigars with his friends. And my dad was a cigarette smoker, not a cigar smoker, but his friends used to come to the house and play dominoes. And they will bring cigars and they will make him smoke, which I was, grateful because I hated this, that aroma of the cigarette smoke. I hated it. But the cigar smoke, oh, my God, I loved it. So it all started there. And then my nanny, I used to have a nanny back home, and she used to smoke the pipe. So every day after eating supper, she would, go in the backyard, sit under the mango tree and smoke her pipe. And I was always sitting next to her. And that's how it all started. And then around, when I was 20 years old, my dad had passed away already. And I decided, I wanted to feel a little bit closer to him. And I started smoking cigars, not like every day or anything like that, like I'm doing right now. But it was mostly like, occasionally, a group of friends will have a get together and then I'll smoke it. And, that's how it all started. But practically, I've been smoking daily now for almost 4 years. When I got remarried and my husband, he's a smoker, that is smoking. So I started smoking with him every day. But it's not a hobby for me. It's more like a lifestyle. A hobby, you just do it, from time to time. For me, this is part of what I do every day.
All right, so that's how you differentiate between a hobby and a lifestyle. Hobby is something that is every once in a while, occasionally, maybe even socially,
Yeah.
But for you, the lifestyle is in every day. Your day revolves around cigar smoking.
Oh, yes. Now it actually does because that's my job too. So if I don't smoke, I cannot tell. So it's part of what I do every day.
So let's talk about. Do you remember your first cigar? Do you remember what it was? The first one that you smoked it that you went, oh, I get it now. Like maybe this is a lifestyle for me.
I could say it was a Davidoff. I don't know which one it was, but it was the Davidoff, and it was so good that I said, no, I have to smoke more. And I kept smoking, smoking, and smoking after that.
Yeah, Davidoff tends to have that effect.
Yes.
It's very good. It's very good. So let's talk. So you turned it from something that you were kind of steeped in, that you were raised around, so you were used to it, and you turned it from that into a hobby, into a lifestyle. How did you hook up with Karen Berger and become a rep for her brand of cigars?
Well, I have a friend that lives in Puerto Rico that she reps for Karen over there in PR. And we were at the Orlando Cigar Fest together, and she was going to stay at my house because then after the Orlando, we were going to go to the Vegas Cigar Week. So she's like, oh, I need to pass by Daytona and grab some samples to take back home. And I said, okay, so let's drive there. So we drove there, and I met Karen that day. And we stayed with her for we were supposed to be there for maybe an hour or two. And we stayed with her for about 5 hours. And we clicked. It was like an instant friendship. I loved that lady. I fell in love with her, and I guess she fell in love with me. And the next day, I got a call from her national sales director, and he said, "Do you want to work with us?" And I'm like, "Yep." That day, I called my job, and I told my boss, "I'm giving you 2 weeks notice. I'm done, done." And that's how it all started.
That quick, huh? Like you met her, had a great conversation, and the next day you're like, yeah, I'll work for you. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's how it all started. It's, of course, I think some things do influence in that kind of stuff. Like, I have a little bit of a following on Instagram, Facebook too. And that helps when you work in this industry. You need to have followers that you can show what you sell so they can come and try, so that's part of it too. So, I maybe my personality too, because I'm a little shy sometimes. I'm a little crazy too. So that combination maybe helped a little bit too.
Yeah. So we had a great conversation, like I said, at the Queen City Cigar Festival. It took a little bit to bring you out of your shell and for you to kind of open up a little bit and become more comfortable talking to me. I'm not the easiest guy to talk to on the planet. So I can see that, but you mentioned Instagram, and you are, I would say you're an influencer. You have over 5,000 followers on Instagram. I think that technically qualifies you for an influencer. I don't know.
Right.
I think I just broke 1,000. So I'm pretty happy with that. But so you have 5,000. What's the key to that? What's the key to social media, and how does that translate into the cigar industry? Because I know that the cigar industry, it's a people industry, right?
Oh yes, it is. It is. Well, to me, with Instagram, it all started practically, like a game. Let's say, yes, I did have Instagram. My account. If you go back to my older pictures, you'll see I still have everything there. Because some people, they will start to they say, oh, I want to be an influencer, let's say, and they delete everything. That's not me. I started with Instagram probably, I don't know, 8 years ago. So I still have everything from back then. And then last year, my husband is like, oh, why don't you just, start posting pictures, smoking? I'm like, I will get in trouble. My family is very traditional. And they, in their mind, they think, oh no, women should be smokers, cigar smokers. I guess it's okay to smoke cigarettes, but not cigars, which is, double standards.
Right.
But that's all, I just started posting, and then I started gaining followers and followers and followers, and I kept posting and posting and posting. And that's how that Instagram, craziness started. But yes, in this cigar world, I sometimes I just like, it's just crazy. So different with everybody, because you might like one thing. Some people will say, why don't you just post videos? And some people will say, why don't you just post professional pictures and stuff like that? And this is why I don't feel like I am an influencer. I do have some influence on people, I believe, but influencers are more like into constantly taking pictures and posting. I have a way of doing my thing. I gotta say, I'm like a little OCD, and I like to keep my Instagram in a certain way. So I don't post like everybody else. Like everything they do, they're just posting. I can't be that way. So I don't consider myself an influencer because of that. But I do have some influence on people because I have helped a few brands. Like, oh, they send me this stuff and can you post? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll post, and then they get a few followers and people start buying their stuff. So in a way I am, in another way I don't feel like it. Like I'm an influencer.
What are the challenges that come with Instagram? You just talked about, you're a little OCD with it and you don't post all the time, and so you're kind of judicious with what you post. What are the challenges to keep that Instagram going and to keep the momentum and get the followers, and how do you like, if somebody says, hey, I want to send you something, do you try it out first before you post, or you just like, yeah, I'll post it, whatever? Like, is there a vetting process that you use to which products you'll try to influence people to go follow and maybe try?
Yes, definitely. If I don't like it, I won't post it. That's my thing. And I'm very honest upfront with people. You want to send me your product? Not a problem. I don't charge. And that's another thing when it comes to influencers. Most of them do charge a fee, to post. So that's a job for them. For me, it's just, I cannot use my smoking, my love for smoke, for smoking, and charge for that. Because, for me, I don't criticize and I don't judge what, the people that do, but I just can't do it. So since I don't charge, I tell them clearly, listen, if I don't like your cigar, I'm not posting it. But you have to understand something. Me not liking it does not mean that it's a bad cigar. It means that it's not for my palate. But I cannot vouch for something that I don't like.
Right.
And, some people, oh, don't worry about it, you're going to like it. So when I don't post, they get mad at me. And they, I get messages, oh, yeah, some are nasty. It's like, oh, I just sent you 3 cigars. It's like, I told you from the beginning, before you sent it to me, if I don't like your cigar, I will never post it. Because it's my reputation, Yeah,
I think that's great that you don't charge for it, and you're just like, if I like it, I'll post it, and if I don't, you won't see it. I think that's a great way to do it. It keeps your hands clean. It gives you a nice. There's no bias that goes along with what you're influencing. You like it? Hey, go try it. Go smoke, like whatever. I'm not getting paid for it. I like it. You might not. Your mileage may vary. Go check it out.
Yeah, no. And I have a friend who keeps telling me you should charge money for that. You should make money, because you do get a lot of people, asking about it and stuff like that. I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't charge. I have brands that send me stuff, and after they send it to me, they say, okay, how much are you going to charge me? And I'm like, I don't charge anything. I told you, if I like it, I post. If I don't, you won't see it there. But I do not charge anything. That's me.
So with you, your Instagram is real. It's you. It's what you want it to be. It's at least it's the you that you want to show people, but there's nothing fake or phony about it.
Not at all. It will be phony if I will be, constantly promoting a brand that I don't like.
Do you find that challenging to do in the world of quote unquote influencers? Because if people are sending you things and they're expecting you to say, hey, I'm going to charge you X amount for this, but you turn around and say, no, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'll just post it if I like it. If I don't, you'll never see it on my Instagram. Is it challenging for you to navigate that with fellow influencers? do they see that as a, well, you're ruining it for the rest of us kind of thing? Or do they just kind of leave you alone and let you do your thing? And
it has been challenging. I have received a couple of messages from a couple of people, saying, oh, you're ruining my business. And I'm like, your business is your business. Mine is mine. And these people, I'm talking like people that have like over 25,000 followers. Like, what? I even tell them, like, why are you even messaging me? Have you seen your following? I'm not close to what you have. So it's just, you're just wasting your time. What you do and what I do are two different things. So,
right.
Some people do get mad and some don't care.
And you're going to keep doing what you do. And I think, I think that's fantastic. I think that's great.
I can't do it. I think I will be fake if I start charging, because then it's not a lifestyle. I'm using it to make money, and to make money,
then it becomes
I prefer
a business.
to go out there and sell. Exactly. I just prefer to go shop to shop and sell Karen Burger instead of, doing this to people. Because some of these people that have these brands, these are boutique brands, and these are people sometimes that they're doing it by themselves, like I am practically. So I'm investing my money, and then I'm going to send you some cigars, and then you're going to charge me on top of that. But what if I don't have a lot? You understand?
Yeah.
Help these people, push them out there. If they're great, if they're not, that's on them, not me.
Exactly. And so when you navigate those types of things, like, does that help you in the business world when you're repping Karen Burger and you're talking to B&Ms and you're talking to other reps? Does that help you navigate those relationships a little bit more?
I'd say yes, definitely. I have met a lot of people. Like, actually on Saturday, I was at this event in Sanford, Florida, and I met a friend there who is a rep for another brand. And he was telling me, he's just giving me advice. You should do this, you should do that. And, it helps. You meet people out there. And the good thing about this, it does not matter what brand you represent, because there is, a market for everything. Everybody help each other. I get I get advice from Steve Saka. Saka sat with me for almost 2 hours telling me what to do and what not to do in the industry. And
Nice.
the guy, he has, who doesn't know Steve Saka,
Right.
And, one time I sat down with Pete Hernandez that represents Tatuaje cigars, and he gave me a lot of advice too. So there is no, competing against each other in these things. Like, there's market for everybody, there's space for everybody. And I think people help. You're going to find some people that could be a little nasty and, maybe jealous of whatever. But in this industry, I think it's more, I help you, you help me. And sometimes it's just, I help you, you don't have to help me at all. So I think it's just, it's a positive thing to be working in this industry for me.
So you see a lot of good in the industry, and I wonder if that's because as a rep, you're out there day to day, like you're grinding, right? You're grinding every day. You're talking to B&Ms, you're talking to people who make decisions in sales, and you get to see other reps, and you get to see some of the other people in the industry. Because I have heard from those in the industry that manufacturers, right? So I don't want to mention names, but guys who make the top level decisions in some of these larger companies, right? That they say that the cigar world is very nice up top, above the table, like everyone's helping everybody else and they're laughing, they're having a good time, but under the table, the guns are drawn. You don't see any of that. You just see everything that's above the table.
I have not seen any of that, but remember, big people are big people. The more money you have, there's always going to be craziness, and there's going to be a lot of competition, between the big companies. You do not see that with the little manufacturers. Like when I went to DR, and I went to a few factories there, and then I got invited to, just to meet a group of smokers. They all wanted to meet me, and I'm like, okay, not a problem. I'll go there. And there were like 4 different um, factory owners there, and they were all friends because they don't need to be enemies. They don't need to be fighting against each other because they all have you know you know different people with different palates and different products, and there's no need to be hating on each other. I was so happy to see that. I don't think you see that with the big people. You don't see it that much. They pretend and they get along and they smile together for pictures and whatever. But when you see the little people and they sit down and they smoke and they laugh and they joke, and it's just lovely. I love it.
And that's blue collar, right? Because you're out there, you're grinding, you're shoulder to shoulder with other reps. And so you get that camaraderie because you guys are out there every day, right? Like,
Yeah.
What does that look like? What does that look like for you, Anya? Like every day, give us like a day in the life of a cigar rep who's just grinding.
Yeah, every day. Like you can just go, okay, today I'm not going to work. I'm going to have fun. But then you go with a friend to a shop that you've never been to. You're not going to sit and smoke. You're going to grab your card and you're going to grab a sample and you're going to give it to the owner, the manager, at that place. So you're always working. Always, and it's, it's not a bad thing because you're working, but you're having fun at the same time. You're smoking, you're drinking, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
It's not
but
work.
It's not. Yeah, but it's not work, but you're not sitting there smoking a cigar and you're doing work, but it's not work because you like it.
Exactly. It's not like before I was working in the solar industry. I worked for a solar engineering company, and I was just, telling my mom, I used to fall asleep with my boss in front of me, sitting in front of me, because it was so boring.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of work, yes, to keep me busy, but sometimes, I would doze off. I'm not joking. I would just fall asleep for like a few seconds. But here, there's no way. You're moving around, you're talking to people, you get to a shop and you tell the manager, do you have 45 minutes to sit with me and have a smoke, and you smoke with them. And you have a drink or two and you talking. And sometimes like the way I do it, I don't talk about the brand right away. I let them get to the last third and then we start talking about it. And then we talk prices and stuff like that. But for the first, let's say 30, 35 minutes, it's just about talking about everything, politics, the weather or how the business is going in that area and stuff like that. So it's not like I said, it's not work for me. I'm having fun.
Yeah. You're getting to know people and through getting to know them, you're able to represent the Karen Berger brand very well, which is awesome. Which is that's fantastic. But you're in a lot of B&Ms, right? You're in B&Ms all the time, every day, repping. I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people are talking about now because there's more of it. There's a lot of women. In fact, women are the fastest growing demographic, I believe, in the cigar hobby, in the cigar lifestyle. Are you seeing that out there in the lounges, more and more women coming in?
I do see it in the big lounges. I don't see it in the small, B&Ms. I see it more like in the big lounges. Like here, if you go to, I'm in Orlando right now. If you go to Corona, you're going to see a lot of women there. But it's growing, We are coming out of that shell, because people have that taboo that women should not smoke cigars. Cigars are made for men, which is not true. So now we're seeing that it is okay. We still get a little bit of judging and people criticizing. I do get it all the time. Even in my family, I have family members that used to follow me on Instagram. They stopped following me. But I don't care. It's part of me. It's part of what I do, and I've been doing it for a long time. And if you don't want to see it, then I don't care. But a lot of other women have, the same mentality now. They don't care, so they are coming out. And then I have met, in this cigar week and cigar fest that I've been going this year, I have met a lot of women, and they all tell me the same thing. It all started last year when the pandemic hit. They got bored and they saw their husbands, smoking, and they said, I want to smoke with you. Can you teach me how to do it? and that's how they all started. But it's been like since last year, I have seen it grow a lot. The whole women smoker community.
So you're seeing it in the big box retailers, your Coronas, your JRs, your probably your Burns by Rocky Patel, your Davidoff lounges, your Casa de Monte Cristos, et cetera, et cetera. But you said in the smaller lounges, in your mom and pop B&Ms, and you're not seeing women come in nearly as much. Why do you think that is?
Because usually those places are bring your own bottle, or they only offer beer. And a lot of the women that smoke these days, they like more like the bar. They prefer to go to a bar and have a cocktail and have wine and have spirits and stuff like that instead of beer. Beer practically is more like for men than women. So, and most of those shops are small shops. You see people that are, they're there every day. And they're older, or, you still see a few young people, but it's mostly for older people. And, I think we as women, we need to support the small businesses too. I don't mind having a beer. I don't like beer, but I don't mind sitting and having a beer. Or have a Coke. I have Coke. Sometimes I don't even want to drink alcohol, and I will drink Coke or water, and I'll have a smoke, So that's something that we can do, and we can support the small B&Ms, because the big ones, they don't need that. They have business all the time. So I prefer to go to a small one.
Well, and I think I would too, for the most part. If I had my druthers and I could pick one wherever I was, I would probably pick a smaller one, more cozy, more intimate, less noise is my big one. But how do those small B&Ms cater to this growing demographic, the women? Because like you said, they can't have the wine and they can't have the alcohol. And some states, like in the state that I live in, you can't sell alcohol and tobacco in the same store unless you sell consistently every month. 60% of your business is alcohol, or 60% of your business is tobacco, and only 40% of your business is alcohol. And the 1 month that it's 41.59, like, you're done.
Here in Florida, you are allowed. It doesn't even matter, but you have to have a permit. You have to have a license, right? So some people don't want to have the big, crazy license, the alcohol license, because sometimes it takes a lot, and it's more expensive or whatever. Or sometimes you don't have that need, But if you have a beer license, it's beer and wine license, So you could, you can bring wine too. I went to this place in my town, right? I love going to that place, but they only have beer. And I told the owner, but you do have a wine license, right? It's wine and beer. It's like, yes. Why don't you bring wine? Oh, I don't have a lot of women that come here. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. You can bring wine, have a couple of bottles. I come here all the time and I drink wine. So he started buying wine. And other women, it's like, oh, I see you have wine there. Now I'll buy alcohol now because you have wine. So he saw the difference, So some people can do that, if they see that more women are coming and they're looking for wine, they might add wine to what they offer, and you'll see the grow little by little, because that's what we want, something where we can, like, me personally, I don't like a lot of noise. To me, smoking is to relax. Okay.
Yes.
A club is one thing, and a cigar shop, cigar lounge, to me, is just to relax. I cannot have crazy loud noises. I can't do that. So a lot of women are the same way. They want to come, they want to sit, they want to have, a place where they can talk while they smoke and have a glass of wine, So I think, the brick and mortars, they should start doing that. If they're not offering wine and they're only offering beer, then they need to bring wine and cater to women. And, If you don't have an Instagram account, open one and start promoting because these days you don't need a lot of money to market, to do marketing. With social media, that's all you need.
How important is social media, do you think, to some of these small businesses that may not be utilizing it very well? Because I've said this for a while now in the cigar industry. There are some really great users of social media as far as manufacturers go. But when it comes to B&Ms, when it comes to your local lounges, very, very few are active or well-versed in using social media to promote their business. How important do you think that is, in the current age of social media?
It is very important because you see now people of all ages using social media. If you see older people like more Facebook than Instagram, but you can promote on Facebook too. I have a lot of people that I have met, at small shops. They're older, and they use Facebook, and then I have them on Facebook as Facebook friends. It's like, oh my God, yes, we're friends on Facebook, and then can I take a picture with you? So it is important because you might think that it's not going to help, but it does help. Right now, I have an event on Wednesday with Karen at this lounge in Boca Raton, and they're not using money to do marketing for that event. No, they're posting, and I'm posting because that's what works. People see it, and if they don't see it today, they will see it tomorrow. If they don't see it on a post, they'll see it on your stories. So you have to do both, and when you do both, you attract people.
How important is it to get engagement with social media, especially when you're a business? Because you can promote it all day on your social media, but if it's not getting traction with your followers and your followers aren't promoting it themselves and putting it on their story and putting it on their feed, it's not really doing a whole lot. So how do you promote that? How do you get other people to basically promote your business for you?
Well, it's easy. Sometimes you don't have to get anybody. You can tag a person. I get tagged all the time. And then, so if somebody is checking my profile and they go to the pictures that I get tagged on, they can see it. You might think, oh yeah, no, you don't see that many, but yes, people tag other people, and that makes them gain more views. And if I go and I like it, oh yeah, look, this person liked this picture. So, they might go into that website and see what's going on. So not that website, that profile, and see what's going on. So it does help. And, it's the hashtags as well. And the location. So let's say that event, it's in Boca Raton, and you put that you're in Boca Raton. People search that. People search locations, and people search hashtags of that location as well. And, they see it because it's going to show on their feed.
I need to get better with social media. I really do. I'm terrible at it. I'm just old. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I am literally one step away from being in my front yard and yelling at the clouds. Let's switch gears here a little bit because, as we said earlier at the top of the show, you just got back from the Dominican Republic, but you went there for a very specific reason. Now, you've been a rep for Karen Berger for a while now, but you're branching out. You're starting your own cigar brand. Is that right?
Yes, I've been working on that for 6 months now. Well, actually more than that, like almost 2 years, trying to find the perfect factory to make my cigar, and going here, going there. It's not easy, me being a woman in the industry. When you want to come out with a brand, they don't take you, as seriously as they would take a man that wants to do it, because they think that you don't have the knowledge. So it took me a while, but my cigars, hopefully they'll be here this week or next week if customs, don't mess it up for me. But yeah, it's been crazy. They have been ready since the last week of January, but the boxes took a little longer because people think it's easy. It's crazy. It's not easy at all. It's a crazy process, but I'm almost there. And I went to the R actually because I wanted to see how everything was going because we were like in the last stages already, waiting only for the warranty seals to, have it because, they had been boxed for a couple of weeks now. So all they
Right.
needed was to be sealed and that's it and then shipped. So I went there to do that, to check on that. I went to the factory as well because I also wanted to sit down and learn about the whole process, how it's done. And I said, if I'm able to do it, because it's not for everybody. You have to smoke, you know, the tobacco being mixed like in a regular cigar. You have to, smoke each type of tobacco, and
Yeah.
then you make the blend. So it's a crazy process, long process. I was there for almost 7 hours doing that. You have to eat very heavy breakfast. Make sure that you have, that you're prepared. You have water with you, a lot of water, because you have to clean your palate every time you try a different tobacco. And then mixing, blending, and you make different blends and smoking that. So I did that for 2 days, and I came up with my two next cigars already. So I already know what's coming up, but I need to first launch the first one, and then in a few months I will be throwing out there the second one, and then after that the third one.
Nice. So you've got 3 different blends coming. What's the name? What's going to be the name of the company, the name of the brand?
Don Fausto, just like my dad. That's my dad's name, Fausto. So nothing to do with Tatuaje Fausto line. That's something different because what they did, they grabbed that book, what Fausto was the devil. I can't remember what it was about, but that's what it is for them. For me, that's my dad's name. So Don Fausto.
Nice. That's such a great homage to honor your dad with the name. That's fantastic. I think that's great. So let's talk about how you got started, because you were telling me a little bit again at the Queen City Cigar Fest how this all came about. How did this idea go from an idea to reality? Can you kind of walk us through that process? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, I would love to start my own cigar company, have my own brand, have my own cigar. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So walk us through that.
First, you have to have a lot of patience. You have to have money or somebody that can back you up, right?
Which I have neither. So I think everyone's safe from having my own cigar.
Yeah, and have a vision. That's all about, and passion, vision and passion. Know what you want to do, okay? And that's what it's all about. I had that idea when I met my husband. I saw that, he liked cigars and he was very passionate about it, as I was. And I said, why don't we do this? But he didn't think I had the passion, It's like, oh, yeah, I don't think you can do it because I'm not going to do it. I can give you the money, but you're not going to do it. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until he said, okay, you want to do it? Let's do it. I'll give you the money. So that's how it all started. And I started going to the factories and getting samples and telling them what I wanted, because I wasn't ready, to sit down and make a blend with them. I did tell them what I wanted, and they made samples for me. And I smoked, and I didn't like this. I moved to the next factory, and same thing until I was able to find Continental Dominican cigars, which, the guys have been great. They're two young guys. They're young, like they're in their 30s. They're young, but they're very passionate, and their products are great. So I found them, thank God, and I told them what I wanted. They made a couple of samples for me. And, that's how it all started. I with the samples, 2 I didn't like, 1 I did like, and that's what, became Don Fausto.
Wow. When do you think you'll be ready? Because that's the next step, right? When do you think you'll be ready to actually blend your own cigar?
No, that I already did. I blended it. That's what I did.
Monday.
That's
what you were down in the DR for.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I told you. I was like 7 hours doing that, smoking, trying different tobaccos, and okay.
Is that going to be the third blend that comes out then?
Yeah, second and third.
Second and third are going to be ones that you've blended yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
One is, the next one will be, because right now it's with a Habano wrapper, and it's a medium to full, let's say, strength. But the next one, it's going to be more like a mild to medium, and it's going to be on a Connecticut wrapper. And the third one will be, that's what I'm not sure exactly. It's a full body. It's full body, and it's, oh my God, I fell in love, because I smoke more like medium to full and full, and I'm in love with that third blend. But I'm not gonna do that until the beginning of next year. That one's full. But so it's already there. The blend is there, and because I want to work first on my the first one, and then the second one. Let's say the second one, I'm thinking maybe by October, November.
So the first one is going to be shipped next week, you think?
Yeah, I think I'll have them by next week, hopefully.
Where can we go get those? Because I'm gonna need to get some.
Well, that's what I'm working on. I have spoken to a few people, because I know it's not going to be easy to find shops outside of Florida to have them, So I want to find the perfect online store where people can just, order them from there.
Right.
So I'm working on that. But, just like a regular shop, they want samples and they want to try them before they have it on their store. So I'm waiting for, to have mine. When they come next week, then I start sending some samples and see what's going on. And then I'll let everybody know. I will announce it. You can find it here and here. And then I'm going to sell those here in the shops. And then I already have a few people like in North Carolina, in Georgia, Alabama, here in Florida too, New York, waiting for that, shop owners that said, as soon as you get and send me a sample, and if I like it, you bet that I'm going to have it here. So
nice.
I'm working on that, but you cannot sell something if you don't have it.
Right. Yeah. People want to get their hands on it and put it through its paces and make sure that it's something that they like. Because just like you, they don't want to sell something that they don't like.
Exactly.
Was Karen Berger, was she supportive of this decision for you to start your own brand and kind of go out on your own? And
oh, she knows. She knows, because when I met her, I told her that I was working with my own brand, and she was okay with that. I rep for her. She's my priority, but I am allowed to sell other brands as well. I'm not only concentrated on Karen Berger.
Did she give you any advice when you started this endeavor? Was she like, hey,
Oh, yeah. No, she did. She did, definitely. When we met, that I didn't know I was going to be working for her, and she didn't even know that I was going to be working for her. I told her, I wanted to do this, but, I don't know if I should do it. She's like, no, you should do it this way, or maybe do it this way. So she gave me a lot of advice, which I'm very grateful, because I have a different vision now for Don Fausto, because of the advice that she gave me. Stuff that I said, I should have done this way. She's like, no, maybe you could have, but maybe you should add it here or add it there, and it still be the same. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. You're so smart. I never thought about that. Because the lady is super smart. She's crazy smart. I have never met a woman that can do all that she does and still has, and she has like the ability of thinking about, business-wise, anything business related. She's just quick, and she will give you an idea right there on the spot. I was just like, oh my God, I wish I was like her. But yeah, she's okay with that. And one of the stuff that I asked, can I rep all the brands too? And they said, yeah, not a problem with that. As long as, you don't forget about us and just make sure that you sell.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So what challenges did you face? You said, I know you said that there were some in the industry that don't take women seriously. Did you ever, through this process, like have that moment where you just were so frustrated? Like, why am I being treated different? Like you just wanted to grab them by their collar and shake them and say, why are you doing this? Why are you making this so difficult? Was there anything like that, or what challenges as a woman, did you face coming out with your own brand?
One time I did want to kill somebody because, it gets frustrating, and I'm not a feminist. I don't consider myself equal. I understand that I have my strength and I have my weaknesses like everybody else. Men have them too. So I don't consider myself like, we should be equal. We should be treated then. I don't care about that stuff. I do think that everybody has their, their weaknesses and their strengths. And if I sit down with you and I smoke and you see that I'm not just one of those girls that take pictures with the cigar to make money, that I smoke the cigar all the way to the nut, and that I'm enjoying it. As soon as I'm done with that one, I light up the other one. So I'm not just one of those girls. I am a serious smoker. So why not take me seriously? So this factory, I had requested some samples. They made 6 different ones for me. And I got there and we started smoking them. And 3 of those were the same. I said, number 1, it was number 1, number 3, and number 5 were the same. And they all look at each other like, they were trying to take me as a fucker. I'm like, it didn't work, and this is bad business. It is bad business, and I don't want to do any business with you. So it was nice meeting you. I don't hate you. I still will respect you, even though you disrespected me and my knowledge, but I don't want any business with you. So
that's a great attitude to have. Like, I respect you, even though you disrespected me. I'm not like Anya. I'm not sure I would have that same reaction at all. I might have gone the opposite direction.
No,
like that's
yeah, my mom taught me, listen, even if you get disrespected by people, you need to show respect. It's the same thing, like, kill them with kindness. The same thing.
Well, yeah, my mom told me the same thing. I don't do it. I know you said that it takes a lot of patience, and in that instance, you certainly showed some patience and some grace that I don't think I would. And I think that's, I have to wonder if that's why women stay away from some of the smaller B&Ms, is because they're afraid they're not going to get that level of respect that they're deserved. I mean, if a factory who does, I don't know which factory it was, and it doesn't matter which one it was, it does a fair amount of business. If that's their business practice, is to be demeaning and condescending to a potential client, I mean, all they really had to do is take a look at your Instagram and just a cursory glance at it would have told them that you're more than just your average smoker.
Yeah, but it did happen. And let me tell you, when I got back to the car, I started crying. And I don't cry that much. I cry when somebody dies, or when I want to kill people or grab a bat and start hitting them in the head. And I can't do it because I don't want to go to jail. So it was that second one. And I wanted to kill them, all of them. But
that's too bad.
Yeah, I showed them. And it's funny because when I was in that meeting that day with some friends, the people that I had met, somebody that worked at that factory was there. He pretended that he didn't know me, and I did the same. I did the same, but I didn't tell anybody that. And I never go, and people ask me which factory it was, and I said, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tell anybody because I'm not that type of person. Maybe they did that with me. They learned their lesson, and then the next one comes, and they're not going to do it.
It just amazes me that in this day and age that still goes on.
Oh no! But I have been to small shops when it's I guess if the regulars are there, and I go in, I get a cigar, and they treat me like in the humidor, like I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, oh no, I know what I want. I'm just browsing and checking what you have. And they stay with me in the humidor. Maybe, I don't know if they think that I'm going to steal or because they think I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm doing, but they don't move. And then I grab whatever and I said, do you have coffee? Do you make coffee? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to smoke here. And they all look at me like, what the heck is she doing here? So that needs to change because that's, how are you going to bring more people? Right now, you have a lot of women smoking. Like, I'm not joking. You saw a lot of women in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
In Vegas, I went, to the Cigar Week in Vegas. That was crazy. A lot of smokers. I went to Orlando Cigar Fest. A lot of smokers. Miami, Black Smoke. A lot of smokers. So the women in the cigar industry, the smokers are, it's growing. So that mentality that women shouldn't smoke or shouldn't be at a small shop needs to change. They need to be more welcoming.
There are a lot of strong, independent, knowledgeable women in the industry now. Karen Berger not being the least of those. There are in Arturo Fuente, in McAuliffe. There are women that are making EP Carrillo. There are a lot of women who are making big time decisions in the cigar industry. So this kind of sexism, this kind of misogyny that we see in some of these places, it just doesn't have a place anymore.
Exactly. See that EP Carrillo #1 cigar of the year? That was blended by a woman.
Yeah.
It was blended by a woman. So we should get a little bit more respect.
But I don't.
Her cigars were blended by her.
Yeah.
So.
Like that's what I don't understand is there's in this day and age, there are so many women that are active and actively contributing to the cigar industry that B&Ms need to realize that and cater to that. And I've asked B&Ms local to me to do a ladies' night where it's just women. Like you just invite women in and it's a safer space for them. They don't feel like it's a good old boys club and all the regular guys are there. Old crusty white guys like myself aren't there. It's just for the ladies and they feel more comfortable in the Morties and you introduce them to the world of cigars and the lifestyle and the hobby that it is and that it can be. And you try to shepherd more women into the hobby because I think that's only a good thing for the industry. I think that's a great thing for the lifestyle. I think it's a great thing for even if it's just a hobby for you, because women, look, you just have better taste than men, period. You just have better taste than men. Like my palate is awful. I have said that before. My palate is shit. It doesn't matter. Like, so I'm sure that a woman has a better palate than I do. Like without a doubt, they can pick out colors better than I can. And they can probably taste things better than I can. This is not my strength. Like you said, we all have strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's a weakness of mine. So I'm looking forward, Anya, to when your brand releases. We'll be looking at your Instagram for that. Give everybody your Instagram so that they can follow you.
It's super easy. My name and my first name and last name, Anya Ramirez, Anya, and last name Ramirez. It's super easy. I don't like, using nicknames or, my name. That's it. You're going to know me. You're going to meet Anya. You're not going to meet, cigar lady, whatever, it's just Anya.
Yep, there it is. It'll be in the show notes at Anya Ramirez on Instagram. And then I'm sure you can find her on Facebook as well under the same thing. Real quick, are you going to be at the trade show this year, Anya?
I was planning on going, but to tell you the truth, I prefer just to stay home and work my ass off because, it's not about money, but it is about money. And I don't have a job anymore that I get, a check every week. So, I depend on that. I do have a husband who has a good job and he can support me, but I have been working since I'm 8 years old. I'm a very independent person and I prefer to work. So I wanted to go to the trade show and I talked to Karen that I was going to go, but I prefer to stay home and work.
Well, when I'm there, I'll say hi to Karen. I'm sorry you won't be there, but I understand. You got to look. Everyone's got to eat, right?
If she wants me to go and she pushes me to go, I'll go. But
well, then maybe we'll see you there. But Karen's going to be there, right? Karen Berger will be there.
Yeah, Karen will. Right. She will be there. I can't remember the booth number, but if you go to her Instagram, you'll see it there. She will be there.
Yep, it's on the PCA page as well. I think it's got all the booths listed in the floor plan. So I'll check that out. I'll stop by the booth and talk to Karen, and maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I won't. But Anya, thank you so much for spending the time on a Monday afternoon with us. I know I appreciate it very much. I loved learning about your journey, learning about how you got into the cigar hobby, learning about how you started your own brand and hooked up with Karen Berger. It's a fantastic journey, a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for inviting me. And maybe you'll see me in Vegas. That would be nice.
That would be nice. That would be awesome. If so, we'll catch back up then. Because there's how many? Just real quick before I get out of here, how many cigars do you have in your collection? You and your husband together, you combine them all. Because you told me this in Charlotte. Like how many do you have on you?
I have no idea. It's gotta be over 10,000, and I'm not joking.
10,000. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. See, that's so I get crap all the time from my friends, and even sometimes my wife, who's like, "Why are you hoarding cigars?" I have literally less than 1,000. I think it's like 980 something. I'm down under 1,000. Like, why are you hoarding cigars? You're a cigar hoarder. Because I'll smoke 2 or 3 a day. I'm not smoking, 5 or 6, only 2 or 3 a day. Why are you hoarding these cigars? I'm like, I'm not hoarding. I'm curating my collection.
It's a collection. So, it's not my collection. It's mostly his collection. Me, I will be smoking them all. Like I wouldn't. No, I will smoke all cigars. I don't care about collecting. That's his thing. That's not me.
Well, I mean, even if you both smoked 5 a day, so 10 cigars a day between the two of you at 10,000, I think you've got enough for quite a few years there in your collection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a lot. We do have a lot.
That's awesome. Anya Ramirez, thank you so much again for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, James. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. And thank you for joining me, everyone. Join me next time when I'm not quite sure what I'll be talking about, but I promise it'll be Simply Stogies. Stay smoky, friends.
Thank you for listening to Simply Stogies. Please rate and review Simply Stogies on iTunes. You can follow James on his cigar journey on Instagram at Simply Stogies Podcast, all one word, and on Twitter at the Twitter handle at Simply Stogies.